Hello and welcome to the channel. In 5 days, Nigerians, I hope, will come out en masse in what is sure to shape the country moving forward. Whether we like it or not, our actions or inactions will steer the country in the direction it will head in the next 4 or 8 years. The past 8 years has been one of hardship, to say the least. To show how bad it became, as much as Nigerians decried the People's Democratic Party (PDP) rule of 16 years as one of hardship, the All Progressives Congress (APC) in just 8 years took hardship to a whole nother level. Another way of illustrating how bad these 8 years had been, had Peter Obi of the Labour Party not emerged as a credible contestant against the PDP on the APC, a lot of Nigerians would have voted the PDP back into power just to be rid of the mess we find ourselves now. Admittedly, just like the yearnings for Peter Obi now, so it was back in 2015. Because of how bad the previous regime was, Nigerians voted massively for Buhari. Had we known. But it is that time again. In 5 days, we are going to select who we think is best for the country between Atiku, Tinubu, or Peter Obi, or even Kwankwanso of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. These are the four main actors in the election. It is in our hands as it was in 2015. Let's just hope that our collective choice this time around do not fall our hands. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you. State of the race. Who wins Nigeria's presidential election? The normal excitement about who may win is being overtaken by fear that the election may not hold due to the ongoing cash swap crisis across Nigeria. It is not the election week that Nigerians anticipated or that anyone foresaw. As the clock counts down to 25th February, normal pre-poll excitement about who may win has been overtaken by a not unreasonable fear, especially among Nigerians who were adults before the last of the military despots were ushered out in 1999, that the election may not even hold. Over the past few weeks, violent protests in parts of the country over the scarcity of banknotes have overshadowed the campaign rallies. Citizens who turned in the old notes to their banks cannot get the new ones because the banks do not have them either. The scarcity of cash has brought misery upon many homes and businesses, with the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund among those who have questioned the timing of the currency redesign exercise so close to crucial general elections. An immediate political consequence of the crisis is a crack in the governing All Progressives Congress (APC). 3 state governors in the party obtained an injunction from the Supreme Court to extend the time for the swapping of the banknotes, pending the determination by the court of their challenge of the legality of some aspects of the policy. Although 6 more APC governors applied to join the plaintiffs, forcing the court to shift the hearing in the suit by a week until 22 February, President Muhammadu Buhari brushed aside the intervention of the highest court in the land and insisted that the 2 highest banknotes, 500 Naira and 1,000 Naira, had ceased to be legal tenders. Governor Nasir El-Rufai, whose Kaduna is one of the 3 states that initiated the suit before the Supreme Court, has since come out gun-blazing against the presidency, echoing a claim by the APC standard-bearer Bola Tinubu that the policy, as well as a protracted scarcity of fuel, were part of a plot to sabotage its run or altogether scuttle the election and force an unconstitutional government on the country at the expiration of Mr. Buhari's tenure on 29 May. While Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje has joined in the furious attack, the opposition has taken the side of the president, remarkably, the first time they will do so since he stepped into office in 2015. A presidential spokesperson, Garba Shehu, has since rubbished the suggestion of a plot to foist an unconstitutional interim government on the nation. He also reiterated the president's now hollow-sounding affirmation of support for his party's presidential candidates. The president said one of the goals of the currency redesign exercise is to disable politicians from buying votes at the elections. Many Nigerians applaud that goal, regardless of the fact that the president had not thought of pursuing it when he was a candidate in 2019. And how do you sustain that goal, barring permanent removal of cash from circulation or fresh redesign of the currency ahead of every general election? However, of immediate concern are the potential harms that the scarcity of cash can do to the 25th February polls. Speaking in Abuja on Friday at a stakeholders roundtable on the general elections, the resident electoral commissioner for the Federal Capital Territory (FCT), Yahaya Bello, said INEC may be hampered by the crisis. Mr. Bello said the commission across the country would find it difficult to deploy staff and materials for the election as most of the services required cash to obtain. Before Election Day, we are going to deploy the service providers. On the 9th of Friday, the day before the election in the FCT, we have more than 12,000 ad hoc staff that we are going to give cash. None of them will receive a check or accept a transfer. I am talking about FCT 12,000, which will require about 5,000 Naira each cash on Friday night. Also, those who are going to transport our men, materials and security to the polling units will need cash to do that. Also, you will not take a security person to a polling unit from morning till evening without giving him money to eat, and I don't think you expect him to go to the POS to withdraw the 1,000 Naira you are going to give him, Mr. Bello said. That applies to the political parties and other public-private institutions with a role to play in the elections. There are 176,846 polling units across the country. If a party deploys an agent to each of these units and pay each of these agents 10,000 Naira, that will be about 1.76 billion Naira of legitimate election expenditure. Given the current cash crunch, the agents will prefer at least part of the allowance in cash. Many voters will also need cash if they want to travel for the elections and to reach the polling units on election days. Unless the situation improves dramatically before Saturday, the stage may have been set for low voter turnout, which may affect the outcomes of many of the polls and the legitimacy of the winners. That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.